All right, so please welcome Jeffrey to the stage. Jeffrey.
So just last month, I finished up a 2.5-year graduate program for dance movement therapy and counseling. And, thank you, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And the odd part about that was that when I signed up for the program, I just hated dancing. I mean, I just hated dancing. Just about as much as you can hate anything. So you might be asking yourself, so why the hell did you go to a 2.5-year program for dance movement therapy and counseling? Well, I was doing some mind-body practices, and I wanted a counseling program, and I wanted to be body-centered. And the only program I could find was one for dance movement therapy and counseling. I heard great things about the program, and I went to go meet the instructors, and I loved the instructors, and I loved the place. It felt right in my body. It felt so good. It felt like I was home. And it's like, I need to be in this place. And again, the only part that didn't fit was that I hated dancing. And I grew up and I was playing like competitive sports and swimming and football and weightlifting, and then I got out of school and I was in really high intensity, aggressive jobs, and there was just no dancing. I did not come from a dancing people, it was just like, it's just not what we did. It was like business, intensity sports, get it done now, get it done faster. But it felt so right in my body to be there. And so I looked on the syllabus or the curriculum, and only a couple classes said dance. And I'm like, I can get through that, It'll suck, but I'll get through the couple classes and it'll be over with. And as it turns out, the whole program is just all kinds of dance. Which, do you think I would have figured out from the title, Dance Movement Therapy and Counseling? I don't know. Maybe I was in denial. I don't know what it was, but I was there. And so when I first was in my class, and there were 15 of us in my class, and we all went through every class together for 2.5 years. And I was the only man in the class. And a lot of my classmates were younger. They were in their 20s, and they had danced their whole lives, and they were in dance companies, and one was a professional dancer. And we'd be moving. It's not dance like hip hop or like a style of dance. It was more like, what's inside? Like, what are you feeling emotionally? What's in your unconscious? So we'd all be moving together, and sometimes the class would be going in this very soft, flowing, feminine movements. Just flowing and light and direct. And I would try and do it, and I would just shut down. And I would be like toppling over and going, ah! And I would start to see the faces of the guys I played football with. It's like, there's Scott Szymanski and Tony Bassarelli and just all the names we used to call each other, right? Anything soft, anything feminine. It was like, sissy, weak stick, and we were having at each other. I don't know if all 15-year-old kids do that. That's what we did. I thought that's just what you did. And I hadn't thought about it for 25 years until I tried to move in these soft ways. And the part that upset me most was that I physically couldn't do it because I would start shutting down. But what was happening was that I was starting to get curious. I was really starting to care about my classmates. We were working together and learning together, and some of them just moved beautifully. I mean, they moved so beautifully. And I started to admit to myself that I wanted to try and move like that. And not just with my hand and my arm, but fully bodily to move in these soft, flowing, feminine movements. And I wouldn't admit that to anybody at first. Now I'm admitting it to everybody, and I can't believe it. And by the end of the 2.5-year program, I started to soften and sink into it and just kind of really sink into this feminine energy in the room. And the last day of class, it was self-care day because there was a high burnout rate for counselors. And my one classmate, Jessica, loved bubble baths. So for half an hour, you'd show the class what you did for self-care. And she had us take an imaginary bubble bath. And there were these big, fluffy cushions, and we just kind of sunk in, and she lit a candle, and she put on some soft music, and she read us The Little Prince. And I loved it. I loved it. I didn't see the images of the football players. I didn't look around the room to make sure nobody was looking at me. I didn't hear all the negative voices. I just sunk down into my big fake bubble bath with my big cushions, and with my classmates, and I listened to The Little Prince, and I just soaked it in. And it felt so good. It was so healing. It was wonderful. And I don't regret all the time I spent playing football and the weightlifting and the sports and the high-intensity jobs. But when I was over in that side of me, just wedged over in that side of me, it was like I had locked away a part of myself. And the saddest part wasn't that I had locked away a part of myself. Well, that was horribly, horribly sad. The saddest part was that I didn't know where I had locked it, and I had forgotten that I had locked it away. My classmates helped me reawaken to that part of myself, and I will always be grateful to them.